And we're back to our daily segment of Michelle Obama's terrible, terrible life. Boo effing who. She went on a podcast called Diary of a CEO. It's kind of rings a bell like a founder kind of situation. And once again, wants you to know how awful it is to be married with children.
Michelle Obama slammed for whining about costs in the White House. Okay. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. This is her speaking with, is this the Diaries of a CEO, right? So, Rob, if you can play this clip, this is her talking about how expensive it was to live in the White House.
Michelle Obama, the name that immediately conjures images of grace, strength, and almost untouchable perfection. But what if I told you that the version of Michelle Obama we know is a carefully crafted image, not reality? Strap in, because we're about to unravel a narrative that's been so tightly wrapped in glossy packaging that it might just shock you. Ready to see the truth behind the fame? Let's dive in.
Just many natural reasons why marriage, infertility, trying to have kids makes things difficult. It's like, I try to tell couples, of course it's hard. Guess what happens when it all works out right? You know what you end up with? Babies. Little people with their own sense of everything. They mess you up. You love them dearly, but they're a hassle.
What? I mean, there's something wrong with this person. Like, she's seriously depressed. She has the most negative, dark outlook on life I've ever heard from a public figure.
From the moment Michelle Obama graced the White House, she became the epitome of political royalty. But behind the curtain of perfectly curated Instagram photos and relatable speeches, something feels off. Michelle's public persona, an image of strength and humility, is anything but spontaneous. Every appearance, every speech, every campaign, it's all part of a well-oiled machine designed to craft the perfect, untouchable First Lady. The question is, how much of what we see is real? When you hear Michelle talk about the struggles of her life, it's almost as if you're supposed to feel sorry for her. But if you look closer, is she really struggling? Or is this just part of the script? Behind the humble beginnings story is a carefully constructed empire, a brand that speaks louder than any political figure. So where's the authenticity?
Expensive to live in the White House.
Yeah.
As many people don't know.
Sure.
I mean, much is not covered. You're paying for every food, every bit of food that you eat. You're not paying for housing and the staff in it, but everything, even travel. If you're not traveling with the president, if your kids are coming on a Bright Star, which is the First Lady's plane, we had to pay for their travel to be on the plane.
Speaking of struggles, let's talk about Michelle's life in the White House. Michelle recently complained about how expensive it was to live there. Yes, expensive, in the White House. She lamented the cost of food and travel for her children. But here's the kicker. This is the woman who went from a net worth of $1.3 million in 2007 to $12.2 million in 2016. That's a 10x increase in just 8 years. So while Michelle's giving heartfelt speeches about the difficulty of her position, her financial growth tells a different story. Sure, the White House might not cover all the bills, but how many people out there struggle with luxury expenses like her? The question isn't just about cost, it's about what message she's sending. Does Michelle Obama truly want us to feel for her, or is this just another piece of her public brand?
You know, what are you thinking when you're giving this message? Like, what are you thinking in your mind? Because let's do data. Rob, can you type in Obama's net worth in 2007? What was Obama in 2007? 1.2 million, 1.3 million. Okay. So their net worth is, let's write this down. This is pre-White House. Their collective net worth was 1.3 million. Can you go to where their net worth was in 2016 when they're done being presidents? Okay. 2016. So their net worth, as expensive as it was, they went from being 1.3 million to 12.2 million. So that's 10xing your net worth in 8 years. And that's not bad.
One of Michelle Obama's favorite narrative themes is that of the victim. Whether it's the struggles of motherhood or the complexities of marriage, she's constantly telling stories about how hard it is to balance family and career. Yet, every time she shares these struggles, she's draped in designer clothes and speaking at events with 5-figure paychecks. It's hard to take her seriously when her version of hardship looks more like a luxury vacation. It's not that hardship isn't real, but when every tear is followed by a new book deal or Netflix series, you start to wonder if it's all part of the act. And Kelly has pointed out how Michelle's claims of victimhood seem more like a performance. After all, how many people can get away with painting themselves as the every woman while securing multi-million-dollar deals?
Negative, dark outlook on life I've ever heard from a public figure, certainly one who's been given so much. Okay, her window into motherhood and having a child, the first thing she says, they mess you up. They mess you up. Maybe that's what happened to her. Maybe she was totally delightful before the 2 daughters came along. I don't know. She clearly is not enjoying motherhood and enjoying being in a marriage. Even less. It's not you if things get hard. It's all hard. It's all hard. This is so backward.
Now, let's talk politics. Patrick Bet-David has a theory that might just blow your mind. What if Michelle Obama isn't just a former first lady? What if she's been positioning herself for something much bigger? Her podcasts, book tours, speaking engagements, they might not just be random opportunities. They could be part of a strategy to build a political empire. You don't launch a brand like hers without planning every move with military precision. What if everything Michelle does, the public speeches, the heartfelt moments, the quiet exit from the political scene, isn't just about fame? What if it's a soft launch for a presidential campaign? You see, when it comes to Michelle Obama, nothing happens by accident.
Their net worth today, 2025. What is the net worth today?
It's got to be worth a couple $100 million. No?
It's 2 numbers. You see $70 million to $250 million. So $70 million to $250 million. If you type in a couple other places, you'll see 100 million, you'll see 70 million, but you'll see a couple ranges. But let's just stick to the $70 million. Pre-presidency, 1.7. So expensive being at the White House. It was so expensive that our net worth went from 1.3 million to 12.2 million 8 years later. What an expensive lifestyle.
And let's not forget about the media. Michelle Obama has been protected by the media like no other public figure in recent history. From her carefully timed appearances to the unwavering praise she receives, the media treats her like a national treasure. But ask a tough question or offer a critique, and suddenly you're labeled a hater. Megyn Kelly calls this out, pointing out that Michelle's public image is more carefully constructed than any brand. The media doesn't just love her, they shield her from any scrutiny. And when you realize that, it's hard not to wonder, is the love from the press genuine, or is it part of a much larger PR strategy?
Needs an intervention. She needs our help. Okay, and that's not all. She can't make fun of herself. This has been obvious for years. She's incapable of laughing at her own expense, which is an absolutely dreadful quality in a person. Like, I don't think I could hire a person who works for me who doesn't have that ability.
What Michelle Obama understands that few others do is the power of branding. And hers? It's not just about looking good in a dress. It's about shaping cultural narratives. Every book deal, every public appearance, every emotional interview is strategically placed to maintain her influence. This isn't just fame, it's a carefully curated political empire in the making. The question we all need to ask, is Michelle Obama's image a reflection of her true self, or is it a carefully constructed machine designed to dominate culture and politics?
It's curious. You're a very good communicator. Very. You were very good on stage, one of the best. You know how to rally. You actually do. Barack used to say, if I ever needed to win an election, I put Michelle on stage. I've heard that many times. Who are you inspiring with that message you're giving? Think about another younger African-American girl that's listening to this. Do you think you inspired her to want to be a first lady? What do you think you did? Do you think that motivates another girl that's watching this saying, I want to grow up to be like Michelle Obama, my hero? Oh, let me hear to see what she has to say about being a first lady. I bet she says it was the greatest honor. Oh no, in the back of her mind, she wishes he wouldn't have won because it was so expensive.
Here's the million-dollar question. What if Michelle Obama is preparing for something far bigger than any of us can imagine? The idea of a presidential run is tantalizing, but what if she's already been building a political empire without us even noticing? Patrick Bet-David suggests that Michelle's every move, every public appearance, is part of a larger strategy. She doesn't need to announce anything. She's already everywhere, shaping the cultural conversation, one perfectly timed media appearance at a time.
And that, of course, leads me to Michelle Obama. You're back, and she's given us a whole new realm of comments. Glenn, we saved them just for you. because she's still.
I told your staff I only started watching this podcast religiously because of the times I've been on your show and you've talked about it by yourself or with me. So I'm very ready to talk Michelle Obama.
Oh, good. She's still just as bitter as ever. There's such a great new spin of complaints here.
The story about Michelle Obama starting a podcast. And I kind of want to go through this, Michelle Obama's podcast. And her and her brother, they started a podcast. They look like twins. If you want to... No, I'm actually not being sarcastic.
Yeah, well, if she
Rob, what is this, Rob?
Where's her
This
brother?
is the announcement of the podcast.
Okay, play the clip. Maybe this will help out a little bit with subscribership. Go ahead and play the clip.
Hey, TikTok, it's Michelle Obama, and I'm here with my big brother, Craig.
Hey, everybody.
We're here because we're excited to announce the launch of our new
have so many opinions
podcast
about
called
this. We can stop it
IMO.
right.
From her most recent episode, which still on YouTube, she's got like 200,000 subscribers. It's really amazing that now she's been doing this for how many episodes? She's been literally on every podcast of the left wing promoting it. And that's still all she's managed to get. Here she is interviewing Dr. Sharon Malone, perhaps better known as former Attorney General Eric Holder's wife. And therein lies the problem, as these two ladies married to two very famous men are pissed that they are not the alpha in terms of popularity and recognition in their marriages.
So here's the thing. Michelle Obama isn't just a former first lady. She's not just an author, an activist, or a pop culture icon. Michelle Obama is a brand, a carefully crafted, high-precision brand that has redefined how we view political power and influence. The real question is, are we buying into the story? Or are we being sold something much bigger than we realize? In the end, it's not about whether Michelle is a good or bad person. It's about the way she's shaped her public image and whether or not we should be questioning the narrative that's been sold to us. Because if we're being honest, we may just be witnessing the soft launch of a political empire in plain sight.